Greetings, sister. So proud of you with your Excel journey. This is going to be a series of tutorials which I hope will not only enrich in your Excel life, but your whole life. We're going to start with simple operators, something you probably already know about, but it may be useful to just have a refresher. So imagine that you want to test whether something is true or false. The best way to do this is with the equals operator. And every time you type equals into a cell, it expects after that for you to enter what's called a formula. And one of the simplest formulas is to use the operator equals. So you can say 1 plus 1 equals 2. Now, because you've put equals in there, it's going to run a test, which is called a Boolean. It's going to output a Boolean, which means true or false. And it's going to test that and output a true or false value. So 1 plus 1, we know, does equal true. Now, as soon as you press enter, it returns true because that test that you've run is true. Now, if we were to say 1 plus 1 equals 1, obviously it shall return false. So that's just an introduction to Booleans, which you may find useful in some of your spreadsheets. Now I've already used the plus sign, but you can use many others as well. So you can do 1 minus 1. Now, if you do not use the equals after that, it's not going to run a test. It's simply going to output the result of whatever formula you have inputted into the cell. 1 minus 1 shall therefore result in 0. 1 plus 1 obviously shall result in 2. And let's say it was something like 3 to the power of 3 is... That's right, 27. And the asterisk symbol, asterisk, I don't know how to pronounce it, is simply the multiplier. So 3 times 3 equals 9. Now, obviously, looking at this, that might not seem so useful. Now, one of the first things that you learn in Excel is that you need to refer to other cells. So let's say you've got these two cells here, D2 and D3. If you have a 1 in D2 and a 1 in D3, you can simply adjust your formula to refer to those cells instead. So B3, that cell, if we put in there the equal sign, it's going to equal D2 plus D3. You will wind up with the result of adding both of these together. And the same will obviously therefore work with all of the other operators. Now, if you want to test whether something is the case, for example, you want to know whether the sum of D2 and D3 equals a certain result, you can do that too. So you can put equals D2 plus D3 equals, and then whatever desired result you want. So you can say 3, and that will run the test. Obviously, D2 plus D3 here is 1 plus 1. That does not equal 3. Now, you guessed it, it might be that actually the thing you're wanting to test against is in another cell. So let's say that you've got yet another cell in D4, and you want to test whether the result in D4 is the sum of these two. You can do it that way as well. All you do is you change the equals on the other side of the equals to D4. And now it will run that test, but it's testing it against another cell. So that concludes our first tutorial. We shall continue with this series. Thank you for watching.